On today's podcast, we'll be talking about the secret S of the 5S methodology, safety. So stay tuned.
Welcome to Warehouse Safety Tips. If you're a seasoned vodcast viewer, this vodcast is going to be different from most that you watch. It's based around exactly what the name implies, warehouse safety tips. And since the people in this industry are busy, we know that time is money, so each episode will be as short and to the point as possible. And now, with all that out of the way, let's get to the vodcast.
We're finally here, the last portion of our coverage of the 5S methodology. Some people even refer to what we're covering today as the 6S methodology. But in speaking with Blaine J. Hoffman of the Safety Pro podcast, we agree that our topic today is part of the S's of the 5S methodology, as opposed to being its own individual S. The S we're speaking of is safety. Here's a quick wrap up of what we've covered so far. In episode 159, we touched on the origins of 5S. In episode 160, we covered sort. As it applies to 5S, sorting involves going through your work areas and facility and determining what's essential and non-essential. In episode 161, we covered straighten, which is also known as setting in order. As it pertains to 5S, straightening involves making everything essential quickly and efficiently accessible. It also entails making sure that items are organized by priority of use. In episode 162, we covered shine. As it applies to 5S, shining involves cleaning at regular and efficient intervals. It also allows you to ensure everything in your workplace is operating correctly and efficiently. In episode 163, we covered standardize. As it applies to 5S, standardization is the organization of the first three S's. It takes sorting, setting in order, and shining, and puts systematic routines into place, ensuring all three are implemented most safely and efficiently. In episode 164, we covered sustain. When we spoke with Blaine J. Hoffman of the Safety Pro podcast, this was his take on sustaining. As it pertains to 5S, sustaining involves maintaining the improvements made in the previous four steps. We have an upcoming podcast with Blaine where he's going to provide several examples of how sustain can be implemented in a warehouse setting. So stay tuned for that inaugural episode of Partners in Safety. Separately and combined, each one of the S's has safety as its foundation. Why? Because you start practicing safety from the moment you wake up to the moment you lay your head back on your pillow at the end of the day. Safety has to be a constant. After each episode of this revisiting of the 5S methodology, we've done a recap of each S previously covered. And whether it's covering a topic already mentioned or recapping as previously mentioned, we do it to drive home the mindsets that safety is always top of mind. The moment it's not is when accidents generally occur, and we don't want that to happen with you or within your facility. When safety is combined with the constant and never-ending improvement of an ongoing 5S methodology program, morale, organization, productivity, and customer confidence generally go hand in hand. Thank you for being part of another episode of Warehouse Safety Tips. Until we meet next week, have a great week and stay safe.
Before moving on, here's a word from one of our sponsors. If you've ever been to or worked in a warehouse, you know just how important safety is to both management and staff. It's almost impossible to go 10 steps without seeing safety tape, angles, signs, and/or safety products. It's these items that show us how to be safe and avoid danger in the workplace. And if you're looking for the best products to make this happen, look no further than Mighty Line. Mighty Line floor signs and floor markings offer the best industrial products out there. We're proud to have Mighty Line as the official floor sign and floor marking company for the Warehouse Safety Tips podcast and site. Go to mightylinetape.com/safety tips to request a sample pack of their incredible safety signs and floor markings. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Warehouse Safety Tips. If you visit warehousesafetytips.com, you'll find the show notes for this episode and access to all of our blog posts, previous podcasts, advertiser information, and much more. Thank you for listening to Warehouse Safety Tips and have a safe day.